दोस्तों हमारे साथ आज भारत के हाई कमिश्नर श्री दिनेश पटनायक साहब जुड़े हैं. हमारा स्विफ्ट रेडियो आज कॉन्सुलेट जनरल ऑफ इंडिया वैंकूवर में है मौजूद और आज ये एक्सक्लूसिव गुफ्तगू हमारे भारत के हाई कमिश्नर से हम कर पा रहे हैं. शुरुआत जिनी जी से हम करते हैं. पहला सवाल, फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन बाय जिनी जी.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm going to ask you a very simple question. When you found out that you were getting assigned to Canada, what was your reaction? I know we're infamous.
No, it's very, Canada for us has always been an important country. So being posted as High Commissioner to Canada is always a good thing for any career diplomat.
Yes.
I was very happily in Spain, which is a warm, nice country. And the only thing that made me feel a little queasy was about getting into the cold. But more than that, why I was very happy was that at that time when I was posted, things were not so good between our two countries.
Yes.
And for me, all through my life, a challenge is something which I love. And I realize it's an opportunity for us to do something because I have always believed that India-Canada relationship should be very good, really. We share so many values together. We have this living bridge between our two countries, which is at the core of the relationship. So for me, it was important that I go to a country where things are not so good to see what I can do. So in a sense, I was excited about coming here. The other reason is my wife is a Sikhni, Punjabi Sikhni.
Okay.
And given the fact that you are one of the largest Sikh diasporas here, she was also very keen ki, let me go there and see what we can do. She has always been telling me that your Punjabi is terrible. You've been married to me for 35 years. You still can't speak Punjabi well, and this is your punishment. You didn't speak Punjabi. Now they're sending you to a country which speaks only Punjabi.
So when I came in 5 years ago, Canada was like seen as backwaters of North America. Politically, not much was happening. We had local affairs, and suddenly 2023 onwards, a lot started to happen, and more so now with Donald Trump becoming the president, and we have a new prime minister who is trying to reach out to other countries of the world, moving out of this American umbrella. So did you feel weight of expectations when you took your position over here? Because we didn't have a high commissioner because of the relationship with India souring for a bit. So did you feel a weight of expectations when you came over here?
Naturally, लगता ही है.
हाँ.
पहुंच जाते हो यहाँ पे और सब सोच रहे हैं कि आप आ रहे हो चीज़ें बदलने के लिए, तो expectation तो बहुत होती है. And more than the expectations of others was the weight of my own expectations, because you know the challenges that you face, you want to succeed, you want to do well. But I tell this to everybody in the last few months. Canada is the coldest country I've ever been posted to. But it had also given me the warmest welcome of any country that I have been. It's an amazing factor that from the time I've landed here, and I landed here end of September, from the time I've landed, from the government in Ottawa to the GAC, which is the Global Affairs in Canada, to the ministries, to the provinces, to the people, to the businesses, to the universities, the kind of welcome I've got in my 35 years in this service, I have not got a welcome like this. Everybody was keen that we move forward. So there was this groundswell of keenness in everybody that we need to move the negative parts out and move forward on the positive. So that gave me strength. उससे मेरे को इतना उत्साह मिला that I think what we have achieved in 5-6 months is amazing. I will not take full credit for it, even though people give me credit for it. The full credit goes to actually the government of Canada, to my Prime Minister, to Prime Minister Carney, who have really gone out of their way to make this relationship successful. ताली दो हाथ से बजती है.
बिल्कुल.
If both sides do not work together, there is no way we could have reached this far. And we have worked together. Anita Anand, as Foreign Minister, has met my Foreign Minister more than 5 times, 6 times in the last few months. And every time they have pushed us to do more. The kind of direction we get from the top, my Prime Minister, Minister Jaishankar, my other ministers, my colleagues. So in that sense, while I was overawed by the expectation that was there, the kind of support I got on the ground and from the people back home, we've been able to manage a lot in this past few months.
I think your travel budget has been quite amazing, because I heard you say last night that the only territory or province you have not visited is Nunavut.
And the Northern Territories.
And you're waiting for the spring.
Yeah, it's a little too cold going.
It's a little too cold going there. So when you came here, I think we can't avoid the elephant in the room. There are major challenges, and I'm not going to say it's a huge group, but at the same time, those major challenges exist, but you have tackled them head on. How do you think we move forward from here so that we improve the relationships and rebuild the trade?
Let me be very frank. First of all, it's not an elephant in the room.
Yeah.
It's a mouse in the room.
Okay.
It's an irritant. You don't like it being around, and it nibbles at everything and makes your life difficult. Whatever food you eat, whatever
Yes.
you do, is a little mouse scurrying all around the place.
Laycock calls them elephants, even the little irritants.
Yes. And so it's an irritant which is there. But no, we are large democracies. You are the largest democracy by size. We are the largest democracy by population. We are ancient. I mean, India is an ancient civilization. Right. You are a young civilization, but deep roots. You are a developed economy. You don't do relationship with other countries based on what the mouse is doing in the room. You do it based on what your core values are, what your strengths are. How do you look at the world? You develop different verticals, different silos, different lines, different, like Prime Minister Carney says, a variable geometry, different lines to different countries. And that's how mature economies, mature countries, mature democracies work. And I am glad that Canada has come to that space.
Yes.
In the past few years, you behaved very immaturely. You allowed a little mouse to destroy a whole house. And that's what is sad about it.
So right now, what we have is the federal government as well as the Indian government, our government and your government, working together on the security issues over here. They're working on diplomatic relationships here and economic relationships over
Let me
here.
be very frank. We are looking at every issue.
Yes.
It's not just three issues.
No. I'm
If I
just.
let you know.
It's a smorgasbord.
Whether it's if it's security, it's AI, innovation, students, visas, people to people, culture, films, defense, aerospace, mining, oil and gas, nuclear, you name it, agriculture, agri-technology, everything. I myself was surprised when I came here to see the amount of involvement of both countries. That is the reason what surprised me again was that a small issue has put all the rest of this larger relationship between both countries at hostage. And so what we have been able to do in the past 6 months is move it away from that. Let me get to the elephant in the room or the mouse in the room, like I said. The security dialogue for us is as important as it is for Canada. Because for us, the security dialogue goes back 50 years. We've been telling Canada for 50 years that the security of India depends on how you handle some of the people who are antithetical to India in your own country. And Canada has been talking to us, sometimes properly, sometimes not properly. Canada today wants us to discuss the security issue. They feel there are forces which are making sure that Canadian people are not safe. Indians felt Indians were not safe for a long time, Canadians feel Canadian. So it's important that two democracies talk to each other.
Yes.
When you talk, you resolve a lot of the issues. When you talk, you realize that there are connections which you did not know before. And there are the different perspectives to looking at it. Because both of us at the end of the day, what do we want? We want Canadians to be safe in Canada, Indians to be safe in India, and Indo-Canadians to be safe in each other's country.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that is what we have been able to manage. Today, the dialogue, my National Security Advisor came here in the beginning of February. Before that, the National Security Advisor of Canada had visited India twice. And so we have come to a stage where there is a lot of interoperability, exchange of information, discussions, talk on how do we tackle the problems of security in both countries.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi last visited over 10 years ago. And now that Prime Minister Mark Carney has visited India, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had come to visit us on the sidelines of the G7 summit. Now, both Minister Anita Anand's visit last year as well as Prime Minister Mark Carney's visit this year were announced by the Indian side first, before Global Affairs Canada announced it, before the Prime Minister's office announced it.
No, that's because we are 9.5 hours ahead of you.
Okay.
Yes, it happens.
We do it at the same time, but by the time we announce it, you're still sleeping.
Yeah.
So when you wake up, you...
So can we now expect the Prime Minister of India to visit us?
Of course.
Okay.
I mean,
And do we have a timeline for that?
We want to do it as fast as possible.
Okay.
If I had my way, I would do it this year. But it will all depend on timings, on where all things are happening. And today, given the crisis in the Middle East, a lot of the calculations have changed since the visit. We don't know where the world is going, what is going to happen, what are your priorities. But I'll be very clear, Canada is a priority for India. And not just for Canada's sake, but for the large diaspora that is here. For us, these are our people who are now Canadian citizens. But still, the linkages back home are very strong.
Right.
And for my Prime Minister, it is very clear the diaspora is the most important aspect of the foreign policy. It sits at the core of our foreign policy. So for us, Canada is very important. And so I expect my Prime Minister to come here soon. When it will be, it will all depend on timings, on diplomatic channels to make sure that the right timings are done. But you can be rest assured he will come sooner than later.
I can remember his first visit when Stephen Harper was the Prime Minister. I was a member of Parliament then, and I represented the official opposition at his dinner and events because of politics at the time. But I think this visit is going to be significant because I have a funny feeling it'll be timed to go along with the signing of certain agreements. It could be, because from what we're hearing is that there's a lot of conversations happening about trade right now between Canada and India.
No, there are conversations happening in different verticals.
Yes.
But trade is also one of the most important verticals.
Yes.
And both countries have decided to finish the trade negotiations within a year of. And so, yes, trade is important.
Yeah.
Signing of agreements will be important. But my Prime Minister's visit, which will happen, will be much larger than just trade and signing of agreements.
Yes.
It's basically for him to come back to Canada, and it will happen. And more than that, I just don't want Prime Minister. Prime Minister is at the apex of visits. We will have a huge number of visits from different ministers, chief ministers of states who will come here, high officials, business delegations participating. I want that India and Canada at every level, at every vertical, have a strong relationship with each other.
I believe our Prime Minister is also planning a trip with the business community. He did mention, I don't know when that will be, but he also said that the last trip was a smaller trip, but his next one will be significant.
No, we would like to have regular exchanges with
Yes.
Canada. I would also like my president to come here, President Murmu. She belongs to the tribal community in India, and Canada's roots lie in its indigenous people.
Yes.
So for us having, and also your your Governor General is also of indigenous origin.
Yes.
So I would like my president to come. I would like my finance minister to come. My foreign minister, of course. My commerce minister, energy minister, health minister, education minister, you name it. I would like all of them to come here to be able to establish these linkages between both of us. I have always believed the best way to increase relationship with another country is to have regular dialogue at all levels. And that's what we want to put in place.
So now that we have a situation in Iran and the Strait of Hormuz is increasingly restricted, India is trying to get the best out of it by having a dialogue with Iran. But now there are voices that are saying that perhaps India should look at Canadian energy as well. Now, we know that it's not going to happen anytime soon, but is the Iran crisis giving you a trigger to think on those lines a bit quicker than you were intending originally, perhaps?
It's already happening. It's
Okay.
not that it's not going to happen soon. It's already happening, already in discussion with it. But it started not because of the Iran crisis, but even before that. For us, one of the three verticals which we're very focused on, and my Prime Minister has been focusing on it, is energy. One of the verticals is energy. And energy in all aspects. So energy, not just oil and gas, but nuclear, renewables, critical minerals, the entire energy grouping. And in that, oil and gas is important. Canada sits on third largest or fourth largest reserves in the world. But you send most of it down south. You do not have a system to send it across to the world.
Yes.
We want to work with you to make sure that we can buy as much as we can from you. And what Iran's war has done is made not just us, the rest of the world understand. And the happy understanding came during COVID and post-COVID, and now it's been reinforced during the Iran war, But a country cannot completely depend on one jurisdiction for all its supplies. But there has to be a diversification of supply chain. There has to be a diversification of export imports, and that relationship with countries has to be around the world. You cannot depend on one single jurisdiction. And so that Canada has understood.
Yes.
We have understood. And so this relationship in oil and gas is a natural corollary of that. We depend on LPG for almost 90% of our LPG from the Middle East. We would like more LPG from Canada. We want more LNG from Canada. We want crude from Canada. It's a kind of crude we use. We want more uranium from here. We want more critical minerals, more rare earths, more copper. We need everything from you in the sense, and we want to sell more to you. We want to sell you pharmaceuticals, chemicals, small engineering, auto components, defense, So the scope is huge. And if we can put it together, the framework for all of this, governments can only put in framework. It will allow the private sector to be able to go much beyond that.
Well, when I look at our natural resources, when I look at our copper, our uranium, you name it, with the minerals we've got here, the gold, our LNG, you are aware of our port up in Prince Rupert, I'm sure, as well as Vancouver, and then our port in Delta. But absolutely, I don't think our ports are at capacity. There is the potential for that LNG and oil. It's going to China now. It can go to India as well.
Very little. You need to really ramp up the capacity.
Yes.
Because the kind of capacity you have to export to
We're
other
number
countries,
3. Yeah.
You do not have the logistics capacity to send it across.
Exactly.
So you need to ramp up your logistics. And I think Prime Minister Carney and his team have completely understood this. When I speak to Minister Hodgson, I speak to anybody else, there is a complete clarity in their minds that Canada needs to build this infrastructure for Canada's own future.
Yes.
And so I am very confident with the kind of leadership that is coming from the top, Canada will be able to put such infrastructure in place, and that the India-Canada relationship, not just in energy but every other field, will benefit from that.
Well, one of the things is that the US is thinking about, India is talking about building a refinery in Texas. And I was a bit taken aback by that, I'll be honest, because I kept thinking, why not Canada? Why not Canada for that refinery?
Yeah, we can set up in Canada, but you have to understand you're a population of only about 40 million.
Yes.
And large refineries cannot cater to just such a small population, whereas US is 340, 350 million.
Yeah, 330.
So
Yeah.
the dynamics are different. So it's got nothing to do with that we don't like Canada, we like US more, right?
We always take it that way.
No, it's nothing to do. It's basically got to do with the economics of our project.
Yes.
We would like to invest more. We would like to invest in upstream oil and gas, in downstream oil and gas, in refineries, in midstream units, in processing facilities, in pipelines. So it's not as if we don't want to invest. The problem that's happened, and I'll be very frank with you, in the past, Canada has got itself a reputation of being slow in delivering projects. That it takes a long time to get clearances, that you're hobbled by your own regulations on environment, on First Nation by many regulations which make delays things. So investors across the world, including your own pension funds, find it difficult to invest here because you are not sure of the scenario. That is what your current leadership is changing.
They are changing that.
The major projects division that has come up in Alberta, the kind of leadership that is showing, the impression that has gone across the world. And today that's the reason a lot of Indian companies are keen. That Canada today means business, and let's start do business.
Yeah, we're open for business is the new line.
Exactly.
I want to do a follow-up on this, and then I'll pass it over to you. For me, I think there is a very good economic case for a refinery because right now we're getting our refined oil from the US because after we signed NAFTA, the big companies took all their refineries down south. So really would urge you to have those conversations with the Prime Minister and anybody else who you need to. But being here now, what more can Canada and India do to accelerate the building of this new relationship?
Like I told you, there are so many verticals we're looking at.
Yes.
We've started defense. We never used to discuss defense together. defense production, aerospace, in aircraft, in space, in nuclear technology, in agriculture, in energy, in AI, in innovation, the world is our oyster. We can do a large amount of things. The point is to move forward on all of them at the same time.
That's right.
And to do that, the easiest way is to make the economic relationship strong. So how do you do that? By having a CEPA, the Comprehensive Economic Partnership, where it is easy for both private sector, for both sides to do business with each other, where you have very less non-tariff barriers, where you have less phytosanitary issues, where you have low tariffs, where you have less customs regulations. All of this put together, we can.
Okay.
So, Prime Minister Mark Carney is trying to build an organization by involving the European Union and countries in the Asia Pacific. And there are reports about that. Now, I was a little surprised that India's name is not in that group of countries. So, are you a little hesitant because this would majorly upset the United States? It is understood.
I couldn't get you. On which one?
On this new grouping that Prime Minister Mark Carney is trying to arrange between the European Union and countries in the Asia Pacific.
That let me tell you. Prime Minister Carney's idea is the CPTPP
Yes.
and the EU. We are not signatories of the CPTPP.
Right. Yeah.
So naturally we don't come in that. So
Right.
it's not as if he's left us out.
Yeah.
We are not members of the CPTPP.
Right.
But what we're telling with Canada right now is that we have a FTA now with EU,
Right.
which is one of the largest FTAs in the world. It's more than $25 trillion in economic activity, more than 2 billion people across the world. It's probably the largest FTA of its kind anywhere. Canada also has an FTA with the EU.
Right.
And so while you're doing your CPTPP and EU, it's India and Canada through the EU.
Okay.
Is a natural ally.
Okay.
So it's not as if Prime Minister Khan is keeping us out. It's that we are not members of the CPTPP.
Right. No, I mean, was there any discussion about this, that we need to be part of this larger grouping?
Of course. I mean, both sides understand very clearly that anything that can link us together, we will explore opportunities there.
And then are we to understand that the irritants in the India-Canada relationship are now out of the picture? Because you, I think, gave a statement sometime back to CTV, I think while speaking with Vasi Kapellos, that we are cooperating with India on that Nijjar investigation. And I think Prime Minister Mark Carney was actually hauled over the coals when he went to India recently. And then there was a lot of voices in the diaspora as well as the opposition Conservative Party, which said that, well, the security of Canadians is supreme, and then that relationship needs to, like with India, it's important, but at the same time, we also need to be concerned about whatever the investigation or wherever it's headed. So are we to understand then that has been sorted between the two countries?
Listen, the irritant will remain.
Okay.
But it's how you deal with it. It's important. How it was dealt in the past is very different from how it is dealt. There is a case going on in court. And so we will let the court handle the case. Whatever information we have to give each other, we've given. Whatever is necessary in the future, we'll do. But most important is to have the security dialogue between both sides. What are the issues that bedevil us? Fentanyl smuggling, transnational aggression, you have transnational organized crime, you have extortion issues. These are all issues which are bedeviling Canadian people here. If you look at separatist movements, it's only in the talk here in Canada. There is nothing happening in India and Punjab. And so for us, it's the public safety issue that we need to discuss. And there are concerns, and a lot of people have said there are concerns about Indian organized crime, people doing it here. But we also are tackling it at the same time. So for us, it's very important. People don't understand that. It's as if, it's because it's an Indian organized crime thing. It must be, the Indian government must be doing it. It's ridiculous. A government does not do such thing. It's like saying because there are some Khalistani people active here, the Canadian government must be supporting them to target India. It is not that. Both countries are governments which are sensible governments, which work for the law and order and safety of their own people.
Right.
And so cooperation, dialogue, discussion between the agencies of both countries is a sine qua non, means it has to happen. It's sometimes foolish to say, we have a security problem in India, so we will not discuss with them. It's the other way around. The moment you have a security problem, you should sit down and discuss. And that's
Right.
what we're doing. And we have found, since we started discussing in the last 6 months, things have got very clear. In fact, you had an official of the Ottawa government telling you clearly that India is no more seen as a threat. Now, last time anybody said India was a threat, nobody asked evidence from them, did they? They said, okay, you're saying India is a threat, it must be true. When somebody says India is not a threat, suddenly everybody starts asking, where is the evidence? Let's have a balanced opinion on both sides.
You know, I'm really glad you said that, because being a teacher, I've always been against war. But being a teacher, one thing I do know, that wars never end on the battlefield. Disagreements don't end up yelling and screaming and throwing pots and pans at each other. You move forward when you sit down and talk. And so when grown-ups get to the table and they are talking, they will find solutions to move forward. Do you feel we're at that stage now where we are having those serious conversations that is moving us forward?
Of course, and that's the whole point of this exercise.
Yes.
The whole reason why Prime Minister Carney called Prime Minister Modi to Kananaskis, the reason Prime Minister Carney went to India, why the national security advisors met, why the agencies are talking. Essential is two large countries need to resolve the issues together.
Right.
And so we are doing it. And and we will continue to do it.
Right.
We recognize the Canadian need for safety on the streets, like we understand that Canada needs to recognize India's need for safety in Indian streets.
Right.
We've suffered through insurgency and separatism over the last 60, 70 years, aided and abetted by some of our neighbors, by other people. We do not want people in India to see Canada as an abetter of terrorism or separatism in India. Similarly, Canada doesn't want people in Canada to think that India is supporting or abetting law and order situations here. So it is very important for us to have that dialogue, to be able to resolve those issues.
Hi, Krishna. I have just one last question. I think a statement came out some time ago that India no longer sees Canada as a junior partner of the United States, as being under the shadow of the United States. And there's a concern among certain sections that a lot of the coverage that India's television media puts out is sometimes antithetical to having a healthy relationship between India and Canada. The kind of headlines, the kind of noisy debates that happen, and mudslinging, literally. So I know that the government has absolutely no control over the media, but does it in some way embarrass you that, okay, this is not really perhaps the line of argument that needs to go out of India's television?
Listen, we have grown up in democracies all our life. The noise and chaos of democracy is our strength. It's not a weakness. People will have to speak. And let me address again the Khalistan issue. I have no problem with people advocating for Khalistan. It's a right, a democratic right for any individual, any group of individuals to advocate for whatever they think is important for them. All I'm saying is, do it in a political, safe process. Do it in a manner in which you do it in a political process. Don't bring the filth, the ugliness, the negativity, the terrorism, the separatist angle, the killings, the bombings. Don't bring it into that. When you don't do it, it's a political process. In India, we've been having for the last many, many years, supporters of Khalistan having won MLA seats in Punjab, having been MPs in the parliament. We never stopped them. We never told them, oh, you advocate for Khalistan, so we will not allow you. We had no problem. And today they don't even have a single seat, neither in Punjab nor in the center. It just shows you how politically India has realized that this is not an issue. The issue is only here. But even here, you want to advocate for a Khalistan, you think it's an important issue, do it. Nobody is stopping, but do it in a sensible, democratic way. You are in a country which is a strong democratic human rights, freedom of press, values. Do it in that manner. Don't do it in this negative, horrible way that you do. Putting up pictures of assassinated prime ministers, putting up pictures of suicide bombers, you're glorifying suicide bombers, you put up pictures with sniper targets, you make it out, what are the kind of filth you're bringing to the, and what does it affect? For them, it doesn't matter anything. But there's a 2 million Indian diaspora here.
Yes.
It
who are
impacts them.
community builders, who have been sitting here, who have done much more. I will ask you today, is there any Canadian who has not grown up either being taught by an Indian teacher, or having gone to an Indian nurse, or having gone to an Indian doctor, or having been served by an Indian restaurant, or having everybody at some stage or the every Canadian has been touched by an Indian who has been instrumental in building up this country. We are one of the building blocks of this country. This filth that is coming out is actually destroying those building blocks, making it look like the Indians are violent, aggressive people. We are not. We are community builders who come to a country and have the best in house ownership, in the number of degrees of our children, in terms of car ownership, in the kind of things we do for society. We build temples, we go and pray. We don't get into filth. But this lot is actually creating that image. And so for the larger community, you have to introspect. Is this good for us? You want to, like I said, you want to do something, do it in a political manner. Don't do it in this filthy manner. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I want to thank you for
Yes.
taking the time, and I know your time is really busy, for spending the time with us to have this dialogue. And I think it's really important for the community to hear. You're absolutely right. I always say you just have to go to Vancouver Airport October on, and our planes are full of people who are going back. My own parents, when they were alive, spent half the time after their retirement over in India as well. And so people do have those strong links, but as you said, it's about more than those social links. India and Canada have an opportunity to build something for the future. And thank you for your honesty. Thank you for being straightforward and not for talking like a jalebi on issues,
Yeah, well, very
because
tasty.
that makes things go a long way. And my final question to you is, and it can be your message to our listeners, is what message do you have for our youth?
The youth, for the youth, Canada is your country.
Yes.
Anything which makes you more prosperous, more developed, more aspirational, more forward-looking, do that. And what is it? You want Canada to be part of a global community. You want to have the pride of being part of your heritage, part of India. So develop the Indo-Canadian relationship. And how do you develop it? By being active in the Indo-Canadian sphere. Today, we are looking at increasing a bilateral trade from 35 billion to 70 billion Canadian dollars, and much more in future. These kind of economic activities, who should benefit? The Indo-Canadians should benefit. These youngsters should benefit. More better jobs, more aspirational entrepreneurs, more business leaders, all of this. And so if I have one message, is that there is a vested interest in all of us to have better India-Canada relations, because it benefits all of us together. So the youth are at the forefront. This is your future. This is not the future of the old men who are creating problems. This is the future of the youth in the future. You want people to see you as bright, entrepreneurial, positive people for the future, not as negative people who bring filth into a country. Do that and you will find that you will succeed.
High Commissioner, thank you so much for your time. We really enjoyed this conversation. दोस्तों, ये थे भारत के हाई कमिश्नर दिनेश पटनायक साहब, और आप ये गुफ्तगू देख रहे हैं स्विफ्ट AM 1200 रेडियो पर.